Right. So I wanted to recap some of the things that determined, we've worked out here from as far as this question goes, how we see the world. We started off with this idea that we see the world with our eyes, and that simple as that, really. Maybe we could go and add a bit more detail and say light comes into our eyes, and that's how we see the world. I mean, we could even look at that and realize that most people don't think about it quite in that way. So I'll demonstrate what I mean with a little picture. So here we see a man looking at a flower, and I think the way it sort of feels like is that when we are looking at this flower, we are kind of sending our vision out. So it sort of feels like we're doing that. That's kind of like how it feels, right? Most people will say that that's how it feels. When we go to, when we're looking at something, it's almost like we have this idea of we're reaching out and we're grabbing that thing using our sight. When we say looking at something. But really, what's actually happening is the light is coming from where. I mean, if there wasn't any light around here, then you wouldn't be able to see the object. So clearly, this light up here is important. And so, how does the light help us to see? Well, it reflects off these things, and that's wrong. So we delete that arrow, and we don't actually quite see. The image doesn't quite explain it. In fact, maybe we could turn the arrow around now, and it's more like this. The light, in fact, that is quite accurate color. That is actually. I'll maybe change it slightly to the color of the rose. So the light is shining onto that flower, and then it's reflecting into our eyes, and that's how we see it. Now, the reason why I've coloured that is because another thing we noticed when we learned a little bit more about how light is that you can kind of think about light as being a combined of various different colours. And so if we, when we are shining, I mean, I know that's got yellow light coming from there, and we can go into why does the sun look yellow when actually, if we look at what does the sun look like for actually in space? Well, here's a picture of the sun from space. It doesn't look very yellow, does it? Oh, that's another question we could go into. Why does the sun look yellow, or why is it at least drawn yellow when it's white here? We're not going to look at that now, but we'll briefly explain, though, that light from the sun is absorbed by this plant, and the plant, or these red petals, actually reflect just the red light. It absorbs the rest of the colours of light. So if we were to get white light, well, white light is actually just a mixture of all the different colours. So there are lots that we know that we can see lots of different colors of light, and white light is what happens when you mix them all together. If we see all the different colors, so this diagram over here explains it quite well. The person sees this green surface, maybe some grass, because all the light, well, it says white light, even though these are all different colors. White light is made up of all these different colors. It absorbs the rest of the colors apart from green light, and so we're able to see the green light, and that's why we see that as green. So that's a little bit about, that's just the basics of how we see and a little bit of how we see color. Okay.